Hello, so I'm Naya Pratt, and my topic is dependent personality disorder. It's also known as DPD, and it is a anxious personality disorder. So the diagnosis for this DPD is kind of difficult for professionals to depict on a person because they really have to dive deep into their past and their experiences, and they can't really tell by looking at a person or speaking to a person off first impressions if they have DPD, but usually they have these following traits. So they rely on others excessively or feel they need to be taken care of. So typically those with DPD, they feel like they can't really depend on themselves, and they seek other people to feel comfortable. They're submissive and clingy, so they feel the need that they always have to have a person or someone watching their decisions. They feel like they can't make the right decisions without the approval of someone else. They have fears of taking care of themselves. They struggle understanding emotions and tolerating distress, so when they are in an anxious or stressful situation or state of mind, they struggle being able to get out of those states, or even really understanding or soaking in those feelings. They lack confidence in abilities, which usually prevents them from starting or doing new things or projects without other people. They are willing to do things to a great extent, so even if it's something they don't necessarily want to do or feel like they can do, they'll still go out of their way to do something for other people just to get that approval and feel praised from other people. They need advice on making even small decisions along with big ones. They struggle to disagree with others in fear of disapproval or conflict, so they overall just avoid conflict or having disagreements with other people. They tolerate poor treatment or abuse, and this just stems from they don't want someone that's close to them to leave them. They kind of have abandonment issues as well. They have the urgent need to start new relationships once closed ones end. Again, that just goes back to them feeling like they always need a person. They don't think that they can really live without other people. So just a deeper dive into that. DPD typically stems from these things, so behaviors they're surrounded by. This can be family, friends, the environments that they were in growing up. Experienced abuse, this can be also tied to childhood trauma. It's child abuse. It could also be from romantic abuse, mental abuse, and physical. Again, childhood trauma overall, and then genetics. This unfortunately is something that can be passed down to people. So the misconceptions about DPD is that it's more commonly found in women, and as studies showed, that's not typically the case. It is actually equally found in men. I think it's more able to depict it in women just because women are or tend to be more or show their emotions more than men do. So that's that. And then they only affect romantic relationships. So that's also not true. DPD can stem from a lot of other things, not just romantic relationships, or doesn't just tie into romantic relationships. It can be friendships, family, anything, coaches, anything. DPD is the same as codependency. This again is not true because codependency is more of someone taking on a caretaking role for someone rather than someone just strictly depending on anybody and everyone around them. And then the last one is that DPD is not treatable. Again, which is not true, which leads me to the next slide. So the treatment for DPD is talk therapy, psychodynamic therapy, which focuses more on the roots of emotional suffering. So just focusing mainly on the background, it kind of has the person really dive deep into their traumas and their experiences. Cognitive behavioral therapy focuses more on thoughts and emotions. So usually with this therapy, they typically want the person to be able to tap into their feelings, because they're not really understanding of those emotions. They need to be able to really soak it in and really recognize the things that they're feeling and experiencing. And then medication can also help. And then just to tie in, because DPD is kind of difficult to depict in a person or understand in a person, professionals usually communicate with their family and friends, like, of the person that has or might have DPD, just to collect more information into the person's behaviors and history. This just gives a different perspective for the therapist. They're able to get intel from other people around that person that's been there, like those people that have been there throughout their whole lives or even portions of their lives, just to like see from their perspective what it looks like from an outsider looking in. So yeah, that is dependency personality disorder.